Howdy everyone out there in Twitch land. It is a wonderful treat today. We have two guests with me today. We have Funktion and we have Gwaer from the forums. As you can see, Gwaer is this wonderful bright-eyed, bushy-tailed individual here, bushy-faced individual. And we have Funktion both on audio with us, and we are going to be taking a look at the wild cards starting off in the spoiled set review that just came out. Say hi, guys.
Hey, what's up? I gotta interrupt real quick. When I was loading your Twitch, it gave an ad for MySpace. I just think that's funny.
MySpace, the only
I didn't
place
realize
where none of
MySpace
us
was still a
are.
thing. Exactly.
Hey everybody, I'm Gwaer. Nice to have you hear my voice. Whatever.
Yes, he has not been up on the content side, but you've been all over the forums and trolling periodically, and it's been absolutely hilarious.
What are you gonna do, Gwaer, when they get new forums and your post limit has disappeared? You're gonna have to racing quickly to beat everybody out.
I'm going to text Corey Jones and I'm going to say, hey, artificially increase my post count. Thanks.
You have to say all those previous posts count, and they have to be added on to the new forums.
Exactly.
Alrighty, so we are starting off with the Ambershire Instigator for both of y'all, so y'all can keep up on your own sets. Or you can have the 3-second delay that's there on Twitch before. You can let me introduce. I don't know, we're throwing this ad hoc.
Yeah, we're just having fun. We're doing stuff and keeping busy while we wait for our invites to come out.
Exactly. All of our cell phones are set to, cryptozoic alert.
Alrighty, so you said we're starting off with what, Ambershire Instigator?
Yep, right at the top of the wild section.
Well, I don't ever see myself. What are we even talking? We're just doing breakdowns of each card and what our thoughts on each one.
Yeah, it's something really quick because Ambershire Instigator, we've seen before. It's been around. People know about it. It's going to crush limited. If we spot any differences on old cards, we should probably point those out.
It's pretty good in limited, but when I was making my top 5 video, I was originally going to do a top 10, and I don't know if it was going to make the top 10. It was close. If it wasn't in the top 10, it was very close to it. But I think there's actually a lot of comments I'd take over it.
I think it's got a place, especially with its Rage 2. The one thing I noticed in today's Twitch stream is that Rage definitely has to get that part to where it attacks before it can really do the damage that it's meant to do. But Crush is also really nice too. I think what gets it is it's at that 5 cost, and that 5 cost makes a big difference for an attacking 4/4.
Yeah, I think, that and the 5 cost kind of hurts it. It's an attacking 4/4, but so is Boulder Brute, and I kind of think Boulder Brute's better.
Yeah, that socket makes so much difference.
Yeah, I agree entirely.
Of course, then again, you got Battle Beetle here, a socketable major, a 6 for 6/4 socket major, and they can give itself flight for a turn.
This is what I always think is funny. How often is it actually going to give itself flight? That didn't before we get the spoiler, didn't it have Crush? Or no? Am I just imagining things?
It may have. I thought it had something else.
They could have had a gem in it.
I think no. It had the major gem. I don't think there is a major gem that gives it Crush. I think it just had Crush.
Let's see. Well, I know a quick way to find that out.
Look at one of the old spoilers or something.
Well, they have a listing of the gems at
loading,
hextcg.com, so...
Yes, it had Crush.
Huh.
Socketable major, 2 green threshold, 6/4 with Crush. 3, this troop gets flight. So yes, it was nerfed.
That's kind of strange that they took Crush off of it, though. I don't know. I don't think it was that big of a nerf, really, when it can already give itself flight, the turn it was swinging. Unless it had speed or something, maybe. I don't think Crush was the thing that made it overpowered.
I was thinking about this at the Ambershire Instigator we just talked about. Crush is not extremely common in this set. It seems like they're keeping it kind of rare, possibly just for, just to make the set more manageable for new players, I think. So likely that's one of the reasons that's gone.
Well, that's a good enough reason. Not if they're trying to balance the power level, if they're just trying to make things more manageable. There's a lot going on. I mean, like even that socket. This is essentially 21 different cards. If it doesn't have the socket, the 21st, you know.
It is definitely going to be. I think it'll be great in limited. We'll see how it runs in constructed. Would y'all first pick this one in if you brought it up in your limited pack, the Battle Beetle?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, because if you're first picking it, there's no other rare in the slot. So since it's rare, you're only looking at it competing against uncommons and commons.
Mm-hmm.
So would I take it over Burn to the Ground? Yeah, I probably would. I mean, it's a bomb. It's gonna, if it swings, it's gonna end the game. That and then the socket gives it so much flexibility. Yeah, especially first pick, like it gives you a lot of room to work with the socket, fit it in there, and like do what you want to do with it.
Yeah, because it's a major socket, so you could major socket. You put a sapphire in there, all of a sudden it turns itself into a cantrip. When this troop enters play, draw a card. Or you can give it a removal effect. When this troop enters play, target opposing troop gets permanent minus attack, where X is the troop's attack. So you could drop this guy in a sapphire setup or with the major sapphire gem. He comes in, disables their bomb, and then runs and hits him in the face.
Honestly, I like either giving it speed or giving it the blood one that does damage to the opponent when it comes into play. Like doing 6 damage from the blood gem is pretty good, and then doing 6 damage basically from giving it speed is also pretty good. Like I like both of those situations.
Well,
those are probably
speed,
my 2 favorite.
Have they confirmed if you can put minor gems into major sockets?
Oh yeah, you totally can.
Yes, you can.
Okay, because yeah, then that, oh goodness, the major sockets, they have 20 different possibilities. So it's 20 different cards and 21, like you were saying before, without a gem in it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can play it without a socket, which I don't think you would ever do, there's no real reason. But I think it's interesting. And, I mean, it's a good card, but I mean,
there's
that about sums it up on them.
The wild one's pretty nice too. When the troop enters play, you may have it battle a target troop. Another form of removal too.
That one's definitely good. I mean, since he's got more attack than defense, like he might get blown up some of the time. He's always going to be killing a smaller troop. And I don't really think Battle Beetle is worried about smaller troops, but now that he doesn't have Crush, that might become a little bit better. So that way he doesn't get chump blocked as easily.
Most definitely. All right, here, let's move down a little bit. Let's see what other fun guys we got. All right, so Bucktooth Commander, Chlorophilia, and Concubunny.
So you got like 2 Shin Hair and then 1 ramp card in this category.
Yep. So it looks like they clarified Chlorophilia a little bit to do what it, it's always done, but it looks a little bit better. Other Shin Hair +1/+1.
What do you guys
don't get
think
charges anymore, I'm pretty sure.
Off of Chlorophilia? Oh, you don't.
You're right, you don't charge.
Yeah. Good catch. I didn't even see that. Yeah, so it's giving you the threshold, and it's giving you the temporary or the permanent resources, not the temporary, but it's not giving you charges. Huh? That's definitely interesting. Although I mean, like, it's not that big of a hit. It's still a pretty good card.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a great card.
It's rampity ramp. I wonder how much of that has to do with us highlighting a few things that they had with their the ramp early on with the set.
It very well could be. I mean, it's hard to say what they were thinking there. Like you say, it's not a huge nerf, but it definitely will, I think, bring some wild champions back in line. Like if you can quickly ramp your charges up so you're pulling out the Titan Squirrel or whatever, I can see that being an added benefit that they didn't intend.
Phone's ringing. I'm gonna hop off just for a split second.
No, Function, come back. That's all right. You'll be back soon enough, especially because then I'm going to get to talk about the next 3. Next 3 look fun. Gwaer, do you see, like, we know Chlorophilia is different. Concubunny is still producing Shin Hairs from the look of it. Pay 1, tap, create a Battle Hopper. There's no big difference on that one, right? Oh, but it's a 0/1. Ouch.
I think it's always been a 0/1 though. Either a 0/1 or a 1/1, which isn't that big a difference. You're not going to be using it in combat. If you're using Concubunny, you're just going to always leave it out of combat because you want to get the extra battle hoppers. And then really, you're going to be using the battle hoppers to block if you really want a Concubunny in combat. So I mean, and what its power or what its attack and defense are is pretty irrelevant, I think.
And that's also the same stats that I had before.
Okay. Then Bucktooth Commander, I like the art they've got on him. He doesn't look like he's a big commander. He looks like he's more like a mage, but I just like the artwork that they went with him. I can see that they pulled a lot of their flavor from the lore bites that they have up there.
Yeah. So here's a question, right? So, say all three of these uncommons are in your, well, I would say in your first pack. Maybe you wouldn't even take them because you're overloaded on wild cards, and maybe you would want to pass them and try to cut a different color. But out of these three, which put them in order, each of you guys.
So which ones we would pick in what
And
order?
limited.
In limited what order?
So what's 1, 2, and 3?
Well, I am a noob at drafting, and I have a lot to learn when it comes to drafting still. But my inclination tells me I would rather have the Bucktooth Commander first. I would probably, if I'm building a Shin Hair deck, I would then take Concubunny second and Chlorophilia third. If I knew I could get, if I maybe had already drafted a Chlorophilia, I would put it up just to get some nice ramp going on. But I like the Bucktooth Commander the most personally.
What about you, Gwaer?
I would probably take Chlorophilia first, followed by the Bucktooth Commander and Concubunny after that.
Yeah, I think all three of them are good. Like, Concubunny has potential to just, like, be unlimited chump blockers for the rest of the game kind of thing. Bucktooth Commander is really strong, both, like you guys were saying. I think the thing with Shinhair decks is if you're planning to build a Shinhair deck in limited, you really need the enablers more than you actually need the Shinhair themselves. Bucktooth Commander is one of the enablers. Like, you need to actually make the battle hoppers be able to attack for something. Otherwise, they're just 0/1s and they're not doing anything for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I probably was going to say Bucktooth Commander, but then when I started asking myself this, Chlorophilia, if you were first picking that, there's so many like really high cost cards so far that are spoiled that I think there's a lot more potential for Chlorophilia to be good, and you're just ramping into your high cost cards and kind of living the dream in that scenario at least.
That's exactly my thought. I would take Chlorophilia just because it enables so many more different deck types than basically. I mean, of course, it's my first pack. It's not going to lock me into a Shinhair pick if I choose Bucktooth Commander or Concubunny, but I think Chlorophilia just has more options available that early on.
Yeah, I think if you're not playing Shinhair, Concubunny's probably actually better than Bucktooth Commander. Just that, like, you don't really need the enabler because you don't have that many. Yeah. You need a first Shinhair to be able to start making them, but I think that's easier with Concubunny than it is with Bucktooth Commander. And then, but yeah, like Chlorophilia lets you kind of skip the early game, or maybe skip the mid game. The early game is when you're playing it, but you're just going straight from early game to late game and playing your bombs.
Yeah, because it's giving you the 2 threshold with the 2 additional resources, and the soonest you can drop this is turn 3, so you're totally bypassing your turn 4, ramping up through your 5, and if you drop another wild resource, you're looking at 6/6.
Yeah, I mean, you could be playing like that Battle Beetle.
Yep.
But yeah.
All right, here, let's move down to the next 3 because I really want to see these guys. All right, there we go. The Cottontail Ronin, a 1 for 0/1 Rage 1. This I feel like we've seen this guy under a different name before.
Yeah, we have, in different art as well. I like this art though. This art's cool.
Yeah, he flavor-wise looks fantastic. Crash of the Beast. This is the new art that was just spoiled. So it's a 3 for 2 wild threshold. Create 1 rhinoceros and put it into play. Escalation. Oh, so this is Wild's escalation card right here.
Yeah, this is the art they've been kind of like teasing us with the last couple of days, but it's nice to see another escalation card. I mean, I was kind of expecting to see some from the other colors. This isn't really what I was expecting to see from the Wild escalation one, so that's a nice surprise.
I find it interesting they're starting off with just 1 rhinoceros, though. I mean, because you would think, unless you drew into it, and it doesn't look... Let's see. Alright, and it definitely shuffles itself back into the deck, like the other escalation cards do.
You're getting a 3/3 with Crush for 3. I mean, that's not bad. If you're playing, at least in limited, like, it's going to still be good. You're still on curve, and you're getting it with an extra ability. If you're comparing this with, like, Glimmerglen Witch, it's probably better, because you have the chance of drawing it again and getting 2 Rhinoceros out of which out of it, which becomes really good. And then if you're comparing with Briar Legion, I might still take Briar Legion over it because I really love Briar Legion, but I'm just a sucker like that.
Briar Legion's a really good card, and we will be looking at it, and we can talk about Briar Legion in a few moments. But I can see, I didn't know that it was actually dropping 3/3 rhinos. I hadn't seen the rhino yet.
Yeah, I just scrolled down real quick to see it because all the tokens are at the bottom. But what was I gonna say? Briar Legion? Yeah, like I kind of don't want to talk about it because it's like the most. I think it's gonna be like the most underrated common, and it's so OP. Like
we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah,
it's not in the spoiler because we don't have it.
Yeah, we don't have it
yet.
Yeah, so we don't have to talk about it. You're right.
Now, if you ever wanted fire-breathing, tree-destroying power squirrels that are like 10 times the size of deer, there's a crazed squirrel titan.
It actually kind of feels like it should be rare. Like it's an uncommon, but yeah.
Well, yeah, comes in and battles a target opposing troop. Not too many things have more than 4 health.
I mean, it's a total badass. It kills the battle beetle, which also costs 6.
Well, but if it's a battle, then it trades. So it's a 6 for battle beetle destruction in that case. Yeah.
You don't really want to do that for 6, but I think this card is awesome. I mean, this is my first time seeing it, but it's a fire-breathing squirrel. I mean,
yes, it's definitely got flavor. Let's see. Squirrel Titans keep the deer population of the forest from getting out of hand. Squirrel Titans are the wolves of the world. That's honestly crazy.
So I did a video of top 5 uncommons. This guy might actually make it. Like, him being 6 is definitely kind of if he was 5, he would be way better. 6, it just pushes him a little too far for me, but he's still a badass. Like, it's a good card.
The thing this accomplishes the most for me is makes me incredibly excited for the Squirrel Titans versus Techno Dinosaurs PvE dungeon they've been talking about.
Yeah. Oh wow, you're right. That could be even
which do you guys
crazier.
Choose? Do you choose Squirrel Titans or Techno Dinosaurs?
That's a hard choice. I think I'm gonna have to wait for more spoils before I can pick.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the Techno Dinos do.
I just have to be Squirrel Titans all day long. I mean, dinosaurs are cool, but Squirrel Titans, I mean, yeah.
Well, the one thing I know about the Squirrel Titan here is I know a logo that this is going to wind up in, and it's going to be epic. Because I'm going to add it to one of my Hex Hunter logos, because I already got one Squirrel Titan in there, I'm going to get another in there. Alright, here, let's move down to the next 3. We have the Dandelion Sprite, a 2 for 1/2 flight spell shield when you have 3 wild threshold. We have Classic Evolve, each troop gets +1/+1 permanently. And then Feral Ogre, a 2 for 3/2 crush. Some good early game on that Feral Ogre.
Now was that Feral Ogre changed? That doesn't. Is this the first time we've seen him?
No, we've seen him before, but like the threshold was definitely double before. It's just the art has been changed, at least from what we had seen before.
I see. Yes.
And you know what? I don't even know if like the art we had seen before was the correct art. It seems like a lot of the cards they just ended up switching the art with like one card to another kind of thing, where they're still using the art we'd seen before, but just on a different card.
Well, no, I don't. He is not in my art profile yet, and I have an art profile for all the Hex stuff. So this one is fairly new. So is the Dandelion Sprite too. I kind of like the little Dandelion Sprite here. Gets a little bit better once you hit your 3rd threshold. You don't feel as bad dropping it on like turn 3. Especially because it's got Flight Spell Shield.
So it costs 2, it's splashable, it has Flight and Spell Shield. You know what this card makes me want to do is attach like the Wild Aura to it, so then it gives it, I think, either +2 or +2 or +3/+3, one or the other. Then it becomes like incredible because it has Spell Shield.
Yep.
Actually, crud, I didn't even realize till just now, it doesn't have a resource requirement. It only has the threshold. So
correct. You got to have 3 threshold in. And it's not, well, I don't think it's an activated ability. I think it looks like it's a passive ability to me.
Well, the colon there indicates that it's an activated, but that's just going from like magic terms,
yeah, but
at least.
They've been using an activated symbol, right? So the activated symbol is that little box looking symbol.
That's the exhaust symbol.
Yeah, we'll
I think
find
that's
it.
like the exhaust basic or exhaust quick. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, we'll know soon enough.
Yeah, we've got plenty of things that we're going to be jabbering on about.
This almost feels like it could be an uncommon. I mean, it's got
Almost,
like
yeah.
a weird effect, yeah.
The tiny hollow is home to thousands of sprites, pixies, sylphs, grigs, and other fairy folk. Oh man, that means we're going to be having fairy flavor in later sets at some point.
So real quick before we move on to the next ones, I mean, these guys are all pretty simple, but Evolve is definitely another one of the like shin hair enablers, like I was talking about.
Yep.
It's kind of funny that Evolve and Bucktooth Commander are both uncommons, and they're both shin hair enablers. So if you're planning to play shin hair, like, and you see one of these, you're definitely going to want to pick it because you're probably not going to see it again.
Yeah, especially because with Evolve's threshold requirement, you could technically splash that in like a diamond weenie deck too.
Yeah, so like that's the other thing about Evolve is if you're planning to play shin hair, it's probably not going to wheel because other decks that aren't playing shin hair can still utilize it, unlike Bucktooth Commander.
All right, nice solid common and uncommon, or uncommon and commons there. Let's see.
Yeah.
Field of Poppies. Oh no, that's a reference right there to. Oh goodness! All of a sudden, I wanted to call the Wizard of Oz Land Before Time. I'm getting my movies mixed up. Exhaust all troops with 3 defense or less. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of wishy-washy
It's
on
not
it.
super, but it's kind of cool.
I mean, you
because
haven't
it's
seen that effect
defense.
in a while.
So I mean, because think of like all of the a lot of the Ruby aggro and Blood aggro is they have like 2 defense, 3 defense, 1 defense. So you could exhaust all of those as a quick action pretty quick.
You could use it like the beginning of their turn, so that they can't attack, and then all of a sudden you can swing in for a whole bunch of damage, like on your following turn.
Oh well,
opens them up.
it's Wild's 2-cost fog. It's a slightly limited fog.
Well, no, it's not quite fog because it's not preventing damage. Like, if you use it while they're already attacking, it's not gonna. It's too late. Like this one you want to use in like the pre-combat phase.
Mm-hmm.
What do
Yeah,
you think,
honestly,
Claire?
he's absolutely right. The best time to use this is going to be at the beginning of their turn. Basically, they've just played their creature for the turn. They're about to go into their combat phase. You throw this down as a quick action. They basically can't do anything all that turn. You have your entire turn to attack and do whatever you want to with, and it's honestly quite cheap. I mean, two cost for basically exhausting their entire troops for an attack phase is definitely usable.
Yeah, the way you said it was like quite cheap actually started me thinking. I was like, yeah, actually this is kind of a win condition.
Yeah, it's quite cheap. It's quite good. I like it. I don't know that I'd run it all the time, but it's a good card, I think.
I mean, it's definitely good and limited. A lot of kind of stuff like this sometimes is mediocre in constructed, but
Now, do you think this would get past Steadfast?
oh, it totally
should.
does. Yeah, no, it definitely does.
So that's that could work out really well for just Wild in general as the win condition, as you were saying. Start at the target, all their blockers are come up. They just finished playing out a bunch of weenies to soak up your big guys. You don't have crush on your dudes at the moment. You're like, Field of Poppies. Go visit the wizard while I kill you. Then Fist of Brigadon. This guy was getting a lot of oohs and ahs on the streams.
All right, so here's the one I just got to ask right off the bat before I even say anything. What's your guess on this as far as constructed goes, Square?
Constructed. I mean, green is the best color to have 6 threshold high cost cards because you can lay down the chlorophyllias and get that out quicker. I don't know how I feel about him, to be honest. I think it's the best color for him to be in, but I don't know if I would play him.
Yeah, like I'm on the fence too. I kind of think the guy is insane. Like, what actually kills him? Murder and inner conflict.
Yeah,
Well,
inner conflict is
if you
the
can
best
get his
one.
health permanently to 0 or less, he'll die. But that from 7, that's
Yeah,
quite
that's gonna be
difficult.
hard.
Well, and the other part is it depends on how they want to really treat Invincible. because I know Invincible in the World of Warcraft trading card game could not be dealt damage, could not be removed from the game.
Oh, so
could
murder,
not be
yeah,
destructed.
murder doesn't even do anything.
So Invincible is
Now, if
really
that's the
powerful
case-
if they go the WoW TCG method. So we'll want to see what they mean with their Invincible.
Yeah, if that's the case, then I change to why wouldn't I run this guy, basically?
Yeah, like he actually, Jadim cost 6 too, doesn't he? And Jadim was one of my favorite cards. Like, this guy is probably better than Jadim. Like, this troop attacks each turn of Fable is kind of a drawback for him, but he's like, it doesn't matter. You're just gonna end the game.
He's
if
an
he
invincible
swings. You're hitting
crush
for 7 damage. You can't chump block him.
No, because you'd have to multi-block him, and if it's the WoW TCG's Invincible, he doesn't die. Of course, then you compare that over here to Little Mr. Gas Troll. Just not quite the same, are they?
Yeah, Resvik, we're just starting with wild cards. I don't know. We just thought wild was a fun color to start with, so that's what we went with.
And blood is next, by the way. Because blood is what's below wild.
So Gas Troll, I don't know. I'm kind of pass on him. I think there's maybe a potential with him in that Wild Beast card, but I'm still pass.
You know, for a 1/1 troop, I think where he's going to see play is if you get probably a I would say an aggro control combo. So if you're playing a lot of rubies for like the burns and incinerates and all of those wonderful destruction cards, he pumps up every time that you destroy something. So
Yeah, it is
you
kinda
drop a
interesting.
1 and just start controlling with burn, he turns into a win condition.
Yeah, I don't think he's a great card by any stretch of the imagination, really. I mean, he's a good card, I think, but what I find most interesting is that they felt like putting in a card that specifically synergizes with 2 different shards in their first set that they're, have been saying they're trying to keep it simple. I find that an interesting choice.
Yeah, I like it. They didn't go overboard with it. It is, but yeah, you summed it up pretty well. I mean, Colin spoiled one the other day, but it's definitely an interesting choice. You want to move on to the next ones here?
Yeah, we got some fun ones. So we have Genesis Hydra, 4 for 4/4. He is different because he used to be a 4 for 2/2, right?
Yeah, he was.
So
You're
he was a
right.
4 for 2/2. When this troop is dealt damage, it gets permanent +1/+1. So he just got buffed. Because now you can burn and hit him little bit by little bit and turn him into something giant. So
Yeah,
Genesis
I mean,
Hydra is kind of cooler now.
They did nerf him as well, though, because he does only get +1/+1 now.
Oh,
You're right,
used
he
to
doesn't
get,
double.
He used to get
Yeah.
plus whatever his attack and defense is, and he just doubled every time.
So I mean, in that case, like they nerfed him and they buffed him. I think it's still a buff because if you think about it, it's like he needs to get hit once to become a 4/4. He needs to get hit twice to become an 8/8 at that point. And when he becomes, and then in this case, if the one we see now, if he got hit twice, he'd be a 6/6. But it's a lot more likely for him to actually get hit and survive. Like before, you had to only do 1 damage. That was your only option. I don't think there was going to be all that many times you were actually able to power him up.
Well, yeah, because burn itself does 2 damage, right? So
Yeah.
he immediately died to a burn. You know, he came out and you destroyed the Genesis Hydra with a burn spell. You know, low ruby card.
So there's like the center head in there, the one that's like looking at you. I just can't stop staring at it because it's like it's looking at me.
And its eyes follow you, don't they?
Yeah.
They just look at you. It devours thine soul, sir. All of it. But then,
So what else do we have? Gigantify, target troop gets permanent +7/+7. I mean, which is strong, but I don't see myself playing this. You're just gonna get blown out by somebody playing murder in response and just killing your guy. Like you're gonna be crying so hard.
But you throw that on that
Yeah.
Spell Shield 2 Dandelion sprite there.
Oh, that's true.
That would do
and
it.
it had flight. You had what, an 8/9 flight? That would be pretty
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
That
so
would be
when
really insane.
when green gets its spell shield cards all down, Excuse me, then Gigantify is going to be pretty good. Or you can put it on your Gigantosaur 7 for 7/7 Super Dinosaur Troop.
Pass. I don't see myself playing that. Like,
Yeah.
it's all right if you had maybe like 3 Chlorophylla or something, but that's not going to happen.
You know, I see this. I kind of see it as kind of it being a casual flavor sort of guy, because the time that you're going to hit 7 without the ramp is going to be in a lot of those, you know, really fun games going back and forth. Maybe if you had like a PvE theme deck that forces you to play dinosaurs.
Well, he goes in the dinosaur versus squirrel deck, but squirrels all day.
Well, yeah, at this point, I would take the giant squirrel over this guy. So far,
Jax is in there.
squirrels 1, dinosaurs 0.
Yeah, squirrels all day. I'm sorry.
All right. Do we have anything else to say about these guys?
No, I think we should probably move a little bit faster. We're going pretty slow, although maybe that's a good thing. It might be forever until we actually get our keys, so we can just keep talking and keeping people interested and busy. Something to do while we're waiting for them.
We'll just take our pace. I have no rush. If one of y'all gets a key, then you're more than welcome to drop out. I'm sure our 14 viewers will be okay.
Hey,
Just
Jax.
FYI, the second that we get keys, I am out of here. So that's good that you're okay with it.
I am fine with it. It is okay. All right, so we've got Glimmerglen. It's a 3 for 2/3 now. Looks like they've reduced the attack.
Oh, holy crap! Howling Brave is the card I've been waiting for. I was about to say a bunch of swear words, but I don't know if that's very good on
Oh goodness,
Twitch.
it's their elf.
So I got to interrupt. I mean, we're skipping all the other cards.
Well,
Howling Brave
yeah.
is the card I thought they were not going to make. I thought there was no way they were going to make this.
I'm surprised that you missed it because actually Wordle was talking about it in chat while I was getting us together.
Really? Oh man, yeah. This card, like, I think I'm just going to play Wild all day long. This card is insane. Like I don't think people are going to understand how good turn 1 getting or basically turn 2 having access to 3 resources are going to be. It's going to be ridiculous.
He's good. I think constructed material easily. He's going to enable so much stuff. Oh goodness, think if we'd had this when we were doing the ramp contest. Maybe maybe this would have like super accelerated everything.
Turn 2 Infinity actually comes out.
And check this. When he comes into play, it's also giving you a threshold. So you're starting off with 2 threshold on turn 1.
So, I mean, like, that one is kind of a weird inclusion. Actually, it's a really weird inclusion. Like, how often is that actually going to be relevant? You know?
Well, it kind of keeps them up with how the elves work, because since they've separated the shard from resource pool, like your standard 1-for-1/1 elf gives you a green mana.
Right.
So this one
could
replicates that for you.
That 3 cost and 3 threshold card.
Yep.
On turn 2. Yeah, I guess that works. Okay, sure.
Because one thing we haven't seen them do much play with alternating up the thresholds with the costs yet. So we haven't seen like the 1 cost 3 threshold guy, or the 2 cost 4 threshold sort of dude.
So, I mean, like, I'll just say it again. Howling Brave being spoiled is a complete game changer.
We better test to make sure he works.
Like, I'm in at least in Magic, I always played Legacy Elves. That was like my go-to deck for Legacy combo deck, and like this kind of has that flavor of turn 1 being able to do something extremely powerful on turn 2. And we don't have that crazy combo, but it does still, like, it opens a ton of potential for Wild.
Now, I do like how they actually gave this to the Coyote for flavor instead of to the actual elves.
Yeah, me too.
So Function is fallen in love with the Howling Brave. Let's take him away for a moment. All right. So we have the Munaryu Sensei. So it's the same guy as Sensei of the Milky Eye.
I like Sensei of Milky Eye. That was a good name.
That was a good name, but he doesn't have milky eyes, though.
Sure he does. He's blind. He has an eye patch.
He has one blind eye.
Yeah, so he's got
I hate to drag us back to that previous one, but you did notice they changed Honeycap to giving you to permanently buffing rather than just for the turn, right? So he is much better than he was.
Huh? Yeah, I didn't see that.
Oh,
Thanks for
and
bringing
it's
that
for
up.
each
And
threshold
it's
you have.
actually a 0/0 instead of a 1/1.
Right.
When they're in a mono wild deck, you'd be expecting to have 4, so he would come in as a 4 for 4/4 in a mono wild.
Yeah, so he actually is much better, I think, than he was.
Ooh.
So.
If
Yeah,
as soon as
before
they
he
get
was
the
only
ability
strong
to
on
cycle,
offense.
think if you can start hand cycling this dude. So every time, so you drop him turn 4, turn 5 you bring him back up to your hand, turn 6 you drop him down a 4 for 8/8, bring him back up to your hand, drop him down. He could be a 4 for 12/12.
Well,
Because
on
it's
that turn
permanent.
6, he might even be 10. Like, that's assuming you didn't
Yeah.
draw any resources during that time.
Yeah.
So this
He's much better now. He is definitely playable now.
Yeah, I don't think I would have. Well,
see him in a combo
might have
deck
played
at
him
this
once in a
point.
while. I don't know about combo. Like, it's a little too clunky. Combo, like, you need to go a little faster than that. Like, he's just still a creature. He's just still attacking. Like, that's what he's good at.
All right, let's jump. Let's
So we'll go back to
yeah, let's get
not
back down here.
Sensei and Valkyrie. They need to change the name back. Sensei and Valkyrie was a great name, and he's blind. I mean, it works.
Maybe they put it on something else. Maybe. Oh, hey. Sorry, I need to not look ahead. I got distracted by a raptor. All right, Nature Reigns. Destroy target artifact or constant. That's
So, I mean,
constant destruction. We don't have too much of that yet, right?
No, that's good. It's also cheap destruction.
Yep.
What we had before for
And it's a quick action.
constant removal. Right, what we had before for constant removal was the Chaos Key, which is 2 to play and then 5 to activate as a basic action.
Yeah.
This is much better.
it's still like, at least for constructed goes, it's only going to be in your sideboard if there's like a card you're really concerned about, like zombie play or something. But I mean, it's good to at least see it. You know, everybody expected this card to be spoiled. It's just a simple card that's not that exciting. But I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it.
Very true.
And then we have Niblin Hunting Pack. This one was one of the later spoiled cards, not the last round, but a round or two before.
Boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Four cost for +1/+1 is
Very
yeah,
kind of
it's-
At that point, you're paying 8 mana to get a Glimmer Glen Witch that doesn't give you life. You know, no thanks.
Yeah. All right, let's move down. Onslaughts. Troops
what's
get
this?
+3/+3 and crush this turn.
Hell yeah.
yeah, that's quite good. I mean, it's 6 and 3 wild, so but still, it's quite good.
Yeah,
The,
we were talking about like enablers for the Shinhair deck.
Yeah,
like,
big one.
If you see this and you already have any Shinhair, like Runts to the Litter or anything that produces what we would basically see as tokens, like this is going to be your card. You're just going to take it. The triple
Congratulations,
threshold.
you're now a Shinhair deck, whether you like it or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now there's a comparable card to this in Hearthstone for the Shamans, Bloodlust, and it is just as powerful as that sucker. An amazing drop once you've got anything going on. And then one of my favorite cards, Pack Raptor. Pack Raptor. Still a 1
Now,
for
has
1
this card
1.
changed any? I haven't really looked at it. No,
Swift
it
Strike.
doesn't look like it.
4 Pack Raptors, +1/+1 for each other Pack Raptor you control. Yep, it's the same.
The only reason I even care, like, it's a cool card. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think the what it does is interesting, but the only reason I even care about this card is that it has Swift Strike. I can kind of see it, like, if you're playing a mono wild or like a wild X deck and you're playing against mono Ruby, you're probably going to board this in. Like, the Swift Strike becomes relevant all of a sudden because there's a lot of 1 defense guys in Ruby. But, like, it's a fun card. It's a great casual card. Like, this appeals to a ton of people. But if you're just looking at, like, cutting-edge constructed, it doesn't do anything for me.
I think this one will probably be a PvE All-Star. Just because of with the equipment on there, you turn it into a cantrip.
Which becomes insane.
Now, what I think will be kind of fun, and I'm going to test this deck out to see how well it plays, is combining this with Ancestors Chosen. And seeing how well you can combine the Ancestors Chosen's cards once they start overlaying on Pack Raptors. Essentially giving it that pseudo form of cantrip for that 1 more mana. And then getting in a 2/2 flyer and a new Pack Raptor.
Yeah, you're just talking like a Live the Dream scenario where you draw
Yeah.
a bunch of cards and like just chain them together and then use the Onslaught, right? Onslaught's
Exactly.
perfect with Pack Raptor.
I have to tell you why I am excited about the Pack Raptor, and also to a lesser extent to the same extent the card that adds the flying 1/1s into your hand, and that's because I want to play against them and crush someone's dream with that card that murders all of the cards that are of the same name. I just want to crush someone. That's all I want, and then I'll be done with that card.
I shall destroy all of your raptors. Boom.
That card's not a quick action though, right? It's a basic action or what?
I actually don't have any idea.
So like they have all the Pack Raptors, and then they play Onslaught, and if it was a quick action, you could play it, and oh man,
yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be absolute. Like, yeah, that's your scenario. You want to be the bad guy, Gwaer. You're gonna make like some kid cry.
Oh, that would be great.
Oh, it's a good time.
Crocodile tears of amazing.
So
Gwaer's just like nom 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 nom.
What would make you actually want to ever play Pact of Life?
If I were playing a white-green life gain deck, I guess, but I don't think then I would even want to play Pact of Life.
Starter deck.
I can't imagine.
And I have nothing
I can't
else.
imagine a situation that I would actually want Pact of Life in my deck.
You could play it. Well, we'll move on. You could play it with that guy that removes all the resources from your deck, and you could just be like the troll yourself deck.
Yes, I could do that.
Actually, if there's ever an effect where you gain life and then gain an attack on a creature, I think that time it could be usable. Because then, you play your resource, you get 3 life, and then 3 attack on a creature at the same time. Makes it worth kind of having in play.
No.
Maybe like a 2 of in a slot somewhere. But it would have
I honestly think you're better off at any time just getting the escalation healing. I mean, if you're gonna have to have healing, do that. But I just don't think it's a good mechanic generally.
And that, and like from the aspect Mokog's talking about is, if you were talking about just trying to pump something up, wouldn't you just play Wild Root Dancer instead?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They have to have rares that just look cool, because that'll look cool as a foil.
Yeah.
Maybe the fairy moves around on, as an animation. That would be a cool foil.
That would be badass. Like, and it's good to have cycles. Like, they have the Pact of Pain, so sure, Pact of Life. But I don't see wanting to play the constant removal card because you're so worried about playing against Pact of this.
I'm hoping that they make life gain really just great, and that I eat my words. I mean, I really would like for them to be able to make life gain a great mechanic. I just don't see it.
Yeah, actually, that would be interesting. Like, all that, what you're saying earlier about MTG players just completely writing off life gain. I mean, I do myself, but all of a sudden it becomes one of those things that's like incredibly valuable.
We'll see. I like Adamanthian Scrivener, but it's on a troop. And it goes into decks that play a lot of troops. We watched Corey on the stream get up to like 27 life, and nothing was done back to him. So,
all right. So don't scroll down quite yet. Oh wait, what were you saying about the stream? I missed it. I was at work.
So while Corey was playing the human diamond deck, and he was facing off against Colin, who was playing the orc deck, and the orc deck just didn't hit its synergy to go off early, and then Corey had an amazing draw, so he's like, Adamanthian Scrivener, troop, and he's sitting there at 27, 28 life going wham, wham, wham on there. But, even then, he never really took the damage to justify the life gain. It just looked devastating.
Yeah, you were at Gen Con, right, Function? You played the life gain deck at some point, I'm sure. It was pretty good. I think it
wasn't bad at all. Like, Living Totem is insane. Like that. Right. That's one of my favorite cards right now. So I mean,
if you throw a couple of Pact of Lives down, you have a couple of Adamantine Scriveners down. You are gonna get, every time you play a turn, you're gonna get at least 4 more points out of that guy that buffs. But yeah, it's still, I don't think I would play it.
All right, since we're still talking about Pact of Life, we'll go ahead and talk about it a little more. All right, so we're saying, at what point would it become better than Eternal Youth? And that's like, well, if you're not playing Diamond, obviously, it's not going to be useful to you. But yeah, sure, if you're playing against like just a pure burn deck, this is in your sideboard, you're playing Wild, you bring it in, and if you even play 2 resources, you're getting 6 life for the price of 3. Like, it's going to be a horrible, horrible top deck, but it's going to be a decent card in your starting hand. If you're playing that card I was really excited about, that exhausts for a resource, you could play Back to Life on turn 2, and then like it wouldn't be that unreasonable to gain 9 or 12 life off of it.
Yeah, I mean, gaining a third of your, increasing the clock by a third, 33% against an aggro deck is a powerful thing. So maybe you sideboard like 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean, what Jax was saying is he was saying the best life gain ever did in a recent history was Soul Sisters, and that had a lot of cheap support. But yeah, Paladin alone isn't enough to make the pact work. Yeah, like Soul Sisters was kind of a weird combo deck in a sense. Like it just had this synergy that they kind of existed outside of the realm of the other games, and sometimes it had good hands. Like the other one I would say too is, I can't remember the name of it. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but that card that you reveal a bunch of white cards from your hand and gain a bunch of life. Like that's the insane one. But yeah, Pact of Life, maybe. It's maybe sideboard material. You guys turned me around a little bit.
All right. Are we willing to move on to the new runs of the litter?
Wait. So we have Runeir Commander here, and I already scrolled on, but this is the card we'd seen previously. Yeah, Martyr's Hands. We'd seen previously as a 1-drop. Now it's a 4-drop.
Yes.
So what are we going to get out of it?
All right, let's check him out. So he's a 4 for 0/0, +1/+1 for each troop you control.
That is much better. I like that a lot.
And it's non-Shinhair dependent, actually.
Deck. I mean, yeah, but I mean, for a Shinhair deck, it's great. But you're right, it's not Shinhair dependent. That's very true.
So, for instance, you could throw the Runeir Commander in the Pack Raptor deck.
Yeah,
that's also an option. Yes.
So you're playing on turn 4. I'm interested, like, what the average, on average, what is he going to come into play as?
Well, you figure if you're playing Shinhair, you've got Runs the Litter. You're gonna have at least the champion that gives you another Shinhair. So I would think at minimum 4. I would think.
Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally reasonable if you're playing the champion, putting anything into play. It's not even just any Shinhair, like you guys were saying. It's any troop. Like, if you're putting a battle bot or a worker bot into play, it's going to trigger off that. If you're putting, like...
That's true.
Whatever, man. All of a sudden we start getting Sapphire Wild decks that use artifacts and Runeir Commander to win.
Well, we'll get to the artifacts later. Well, maybe we won't. If we get our invites right now, we're just going to leave, and it's game over for everybody. But that
Luckily,
Worker Bot
I'm
Factory,
the only Grand King, I think, so you guys can stay and talk about this.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Gwaer. Your confidence and emotion is, unrivaled.
Who's going to listen to us if you're gone, though, Gwaer?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Now, we do have the revamped Runts of the Litter. This was the card that was on Colin's Hex Vault contest that he was doing.
Yeah, so here's Jax's card. Here's the one he was wondering about. I'm going to step away from the computer real quick, though. I'll be right back.
So
keep going without me.
The previous one was 2 cost and dropped in 3 Battle Hoppers. Now we're down to a 1 drop and 2 Battle Hoppers. From what I've seen so far, there are some who really think that this turned out much better. So I'm kind of on the fence. I like the idea of being able to drop in the 3 Battle Hoppers, but being able to play that turn earlier, I think matters quite a bit. But the art has a very different flavor to it than it did before. It's much less, I guess you could say it's much less stereotypical Asian bunny.
Yeah. I prefer the old art, I think, but that could be because people hate change and all that stuff. But I don't hate the art. It's just I liked the other one better. I like the pink eyes. They went out of the way because young bunnies in their pink eyes. So I dig that. But as far as the changes, the 1 for 2 Battle Hoppers, I think that's good. I think that instead of a nerf, it's definitely more of a horizontal movement, just at a different time, different effect.
We'll want to confirm, but it looks like Novalis is telling us that they have delayed the invites until tomorrow.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, I'm going to hop on the forums real quick and read the announcement. You guys can keep
Hey, check this. Novalis posted it for us.
I'm back, by the way.
So, you may have not have heard Function, but it looks like Novalis in the chat has said that they have delayed the invites till tomorrow.
So it's not going to be until 11 a.m. I don't work tomorrow. I was planning to stay up all late, but it's all good. At least
right.
I have to sleep at some point.
You may have to sleep at some point, but that gives us more time to please the 13 viewers, minus us in there, the 10 viewers we have to check out the set, who've probably already looked it up and down and are here because I have two fantastic guests.
So I'm gonna Twitter real quick while we're taking our little like internet breaks, just to give a shout.
Nice.
Oh no, I won't. We'll just keep talking. I'll do a little Twitter when we're about to do transition. All right. So where do you guys leave off?
So
were you done with the?
We talked a little bit about Runs of the Litter. Shinhair Militia.
Boring.
It's boring. They increased its defense though.
Yeah, I believe that it's
it was
a 1-2 now.
1-for-1-1, and it's now it's a 1-for-1-2. It's a better troop.
No, it was a 1-2 before.
Was it?
Yeah, no, it definitely was.
So, nothing super. The I need to pay more attention to the icon that goes here. That's the troop icon then, right? That's in the middle right-hand side?
No, I don't think so.
No,
because
you know what that is?
Pack Raptor.
It's the Ardent or Underworld icon.
Ah, okay. Tells you how much I've been paying attention.
Now, I'm really excited about the next card that's coming up, I think.
All right, let's run down.
Well, you lead us into it.
All right, read it off.
Okay. Here we go. It's a 5/2 wild threshold, the Shroom Tank. When this troop enters plays, create 2 battle hoppers and put them into play. And I actually don't care about the effect at all. Although it's nice. I mean, it's 5 for 3/2 and 2 battle hoppers. So, I mean, that's about on par, I guess, for strict numbers standpoint. But I just really like the Shroom Tank and the art. I'm a big fan of the Shroomkin in general.
Yeah, I mean, they're all... You know what it reminds me of is, you ever see Princess Mononoke, like the art? Totally
yeah, it's very much like it.
Yes, that's a good
call. It definitely has that feel to it. The it's like they're riding a shroom elephant into battle.
There needs to be more of like a Shinhair presence on there. If it's bringing him into play, I want to see him a little bit more in the artwork.
Yeah, because they're only
right. I mean, it looks like
right
they're just
the
like barely hanging on to the top. Yeah, it looks. I wish I could zoom in on it because it looks like they're just sort of like holding on for dear life, and then it comes to a stop and 2 of them fall off, and that's why you get 2.
We can zoom in. So looks like they've got like a little harness going on here.
Okay, all right.
So they've got something going on.
They're doing something there. And they're covering up the Shroomkin. Like, I thought it was the Shinhair enslaved the Shroomkin, but it looks like they covered up his mouth so that he can't eat them, maybe?
Maybe.
Well,
maybe.
And then you've got the restraints and stuff on there. Now, not everyone's into the lore stuff, but I took a look at what they did for the Shroomkin and Shinhair lore. And, yeah, these bunnies are really homicidal, guys.
Yeah, they're
really homicidal. Like, after they were done with this guy, they would pretty much chop him into little bits and then turn him into baby food for other rabbits. So, as soon as he dies, he gets put into the circle of life in the worst ways possible.
Yeah, I dig it. Okay, let's see. Everyone's talking about spirit dances. So
yeah.
Probably...
Here, why don't we do this? Jax, what do you think is such a major buff to Spirit Dance? I mean, he's in chat, so he'll have to respond to us in a second. But I'm interested to see what Jax has to say. But you guys
Spirit
keep
Dance.
Talking and
It's I don't want to preempt them too much, but Spirit Dance used to have a major drawback to it.
Oh,
and it
it's
no longer does.
+2.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. I thought it was. I didn't even see that. I need to pay more attention. So
yeah,
it's +2.
Crazy good now.
Oh,
yeah,
that's way better. I kind of like the idea that you could play your
your
Sensei the Milky Eye for free, and he would instantly die but draw you a card. I mean, now at least you get a body out of it. But there was something in my head that I kind of liked them getting -2/-2.
Yeah,
that's
agree.
a really nice enabler. That's a really fancy enabler right there.
No, it definitely is. The thing to keep in mind,
I like it a lot. It's great.
It's only cards in your deck. Like, the cards in your hand don't count, the cards in play don't count. It's only the
very
stuff
true.
that's currently in your deck. If you put tokens in your deck, those don't count. It's only whatever is right at that moment in your deck.
Well, if you put tokens into your deck, like
Yeah, I mean,
Before
I'm
half, they would-
I'm
like,
thinking
after the fact.
PVE
Sure.
on this sucker will be fantastic. I think this one might be a PVE breaker as well. I mean, because think if you're running a, you're running a raid, and then you've been stacking dinosaurs into your deck over and over again with Pack Raptor, and now you've got the equipment. You play down Spirit Dance, you turn them all into free cantrips. At
plus
the same
2/+2
time.
free cantrips.
Yeah, +2/+2 free cantrips that have Swift Strike and come out and then, drop everything down into play and then create more of them that you'll have to pay for later. I think a combo with this one right here might start being PvE breaking pretty quick.
Well, I think it's got PvP potential too. I'll let people figure stuff out on their own, but I think there's potential to see this card actually see play. Well, and especially now that it has the +2/+2, that changes things quite a bit.
Yeah, it is a much better, worlds better than it was before. That's for certain.
And I already thought it was playable at +2/-2. Like, it's not just, it's not +2/+0, which would have been stronger than it is now. It's like they completely reversed it, so it's like 4 defense tougher, better than it was before.
Then our next one though is Stargazer, and this is one of the later spoils, right?
Yeah,
I think Hex Vault spoiled this one. Colin, yeah.
So, and this is the one that you were talking about earlier, where it was talking about the synergies between the different shards.
Yeah.
And it makes pretty good sense because you see the coyotl or coyotl. I want to call him coyotl because there's no I in there. There's only O's and E's. But you see the coyotl split across the diamond, sapphire, and wild shard now.
Yeah, and actually it's kind of funny. Both the cards that kind of encourage like color variation are both wild.
So maybe
unless I missed another one.
Maybe the
Well, see,
Arctic
I have a
will have a lot of synergy between them. Go ahead, Gwaer.
I have a feeling that it has to do with their lore. Wild being, one of the 2 pure magics of the world. So I would think that blood would also be the enabler for synergies, just from a lore standpoint, because those are the 2 special kind. But we could
very
see,
true.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good observation. Another thing I hadn't crossed my mind. This is fun. But yeah, that's interesting.
That is a spot-on observation, sir. All right.
It's what I do.
Here's one of our favorites, Succulent Roostersaur. Do we see any changes to this guy? It's 2/4. Did he always have 1 threshold before?
Yeah, he actually I can't remember. I'll look it up real quick while you guys talk about the card.
So he's a 2 for 1/1 with Crush, but you can exhaust other troops you control to give him +1/+1 for the turn. Then you can sack him to gain health equal to his defense.
What they changed about him, actually I pointed out earlier, was that he can no longer exhaust himself. He used to be able to exhaust himself, now he can only exhaust another troop, which is a nerf for some of his crazier tricks, but all in all, I think he's still a very interesting, and honestly, I think he's a sleeper card. I really think a lot of people are going to write him off, but I have played against him in some guild sort of sparring matches, and he does quite well.
Now, you do realize, to the other people watching this now, he's no longer a sleeper.
Well, yes, the 11 of you now have an inside peek into what I feel will be a strong card.
Well, and I think the thing here is, like, he's another enabler for that Shinhair deck, at least in Limited. So, I mean, you guys were talking about Constructed. If you're looking towards Limited, it's basically, if you start building that Shinhair deck and you end up having no enablers whatsoever, but at the very end, in Pack 3, at least there's a Succulent Roostosaur. At least maybe I can do something with this. Like, that's kind of the role he serves, is he's not, like, he's good in just about whatever deck you play him in, but in that Shinhair deck, if you don't have the enablers but you have a ton of Shinhair, at least now all of a sudden your deck can do something.
That's very true.
Now we have one of our chatters has said that Tectonic Break is OP.
Well, what I like about Tectonic Break is it brings math into a card game.
And it's what I like about it is it's math I don't have to do. The game does it for me.
Exactly.
See?
Yeah,
That is true.
You don't see that in other card games. Like, you'd have to bust out a calculator and you'd have to roll a dice for each individual like troop or something ridiculous. Like, it's kind of cool. Like, in that element, not OP though. Sorry, Alive.
So 10% chance of not being destroyed. So if it's got 1 health, it's got a 9 in 10 chance of dying. If it's got 5 health, it's got a 50-50 chance of dying.
So, yeah, yeah, definitely kidding.
So
What I was gonna say is I did a video on like the fail/win cards. I should have included this. It totally is one of those cards because there's gonna be the time where like, I mean, well, maybe there's not gonna be the time you play this because it's just not a good card and it's gonna happen to you when you play it. But maybe if you are playing this for whatever reason, there's gonna be tons of times where you're just like, oh, I totally killed all of my 9/9s and all of my opponents' 1/5s survived.
total whiff.
Yeah, I mean for eight, you're, yeah, it's just not a good card for its cost. I mean, it's not a guaranteed board clear, and it's too freaking expensive for what it does. Yeah, I don't like it.
Actually, I think the biggest fail situation is there's like 40 creatures on board and none of them die. Like, they're all like one defense troops, and whatever reason you got incredibly bad luck and just nothing died. You played an 8 resource card and you know, it happens.
I would put that on YouTube. I think that would be hilarious. That would, be one of the
amazing.
greatest things. It's just like tectonic break.
All right.
Everything lives.
Here's what we got to do. We gotta build like a big shin hair deck, fill it up with like 40 shin hair, and tectonic break, and see how many survive.
You could call the deck tectonic. If it ain't tectonic broken, don't fix it.
That's right.
All right. Our next card is Turbulence. Destroy target troop with flight. The first thing I thought when I saw this was, it's a vampire killer.
It's a cheap conditional murder. I think it's on cost for removal. I would definitely pick it up in limited, no questions asked. I mean, I wouldn't take it over a murder, but
It's something to note here is it's uncommon instead of common.
oh yeah, well hey, that's weird.
But it's pretty splashable. It's 2 for 1 threshold as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely splashable. Like, maybe you'd play 1 copy main deck if you felt like your deck was really low powered and that you weren't going to be able to kind of stabilize while your opponent was playing a bunch of flyers or something. But then if that's not the case, if you feel like your deck is actually decent, having these in the sideboard is actually going to be pretty good against you. If your opponent turns out to have a bunch of like really strong flyers, you at least have an answer to them.
I mean, it's definitely a great sideboard card, I think. And
it's a dragon killer. All of our dragons have flying.
That's also true.
Smashy, smashy. All right. Another great card, Tyrannosaurus Hex.
So Turbulence was uncommon, but Tyrannosaurus Hex is common, which is awesome.
A 6 for 6/4 crush.
While we've been talking, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Matt from the Threshold podcast commented on this guy. How does he get his armor on? Like, he's got the little tiny T-Rex arms. How does he get it on?
Shin probably.
No.
A cult of Shin Hair worship him and follow him around and don and remove his armor.
I think it's something even crazier than that. I think he is an elven play prop that they use in their Shakespearean operas, and he rolls around trolling and guarding, and they call him in whenever they need a giant monster for their wonderful plays.
You know what my answer is? He's not as big as he looks. He's actually really small.
That's good.
Those are really twig trees in the background.
With the armor on.
Yeah,
that was one of our Alive 88s. Pretty good. I am glad I'm not a female Tyrannosaurus Hex in that situation, but.
Oh no. So I think one thing's interesting here is he has Crush and he's a 6/4, but Battle Beetle, they took Crush away from him. I don't know. I just think there's something.
He also doesn't have flight though. See, I think a lot of it had to do with he could give himself flight, and he could crush, so he was doubly difficult to stop. This guy, he only has crush rather than flight.
So he could crush and he had flight. Is that kind of like a Space Jam reference? He could like do the super slam dunk.
Yes, I believe it is.
All right, so are we going to start calling like the Battle Beetle the Michael Jordan of the Wild Shard or something?
I mean, he can just dunk you. Like he charges your monsters and then fly dunk your face.
There you go.
All right, then
So
we have
actually, I think that real quick to go back on Tyrannosaurus Rex, the fact that he's like common, I think is kind of interesting. Like he's pretty bomby. I'm starting to wonder like how highly would I pick him if I was playing wild. I think if I had a chlorophilia, I would pick this guy a very large portion of the time.
That's a good observation. We'll have to be trying out the drafts while we're waiting for the invites to go out.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on.
Yes, Izume Grand Concubine. So we're 6-4-3-4 now, and at the start to create a random non-unique shin hair. So they took away her ability for a starting hand, and I think they dropped her cost 1, right?
Yeah.
Which
I
is a
liked her
shame. I really
starting
liked
hand.
her starting ability.
Me too.
I enjoyed it.
So this is a card you're a little infamous for, Gwaer.
That's true. Yes, this was what I spoiled those cards at Gen Con with. But I don't know. I mean, I'd still probably play it for fun. I mean, she'd definitely go into my deck of many things that I'm building with all random effects cards. I would include her in that.
Yeah, that's a fun idea. I like that. Like having just those like flavor decks.
Right, yeah, that's basically what I'm going. I mean, likely it'll have to be a PvE deck because all the really good randoms is PvE, but I'll run it in unlimited.
Now, something that we'll want to test while we're in the alpha is to see if it has any chance of pulling in non-PvP shin hair in the PvP side. Because what if it
PvE
pulls in
shin hair?
PvE shin hair while you're playing a PvP game?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good question.
I've been wondering about that.
An easier place to check though would be the inspiration engine because
Yeah.
someone said at some point that the inspiration engine could make spectral lotuses.
Yeah, I've been wondering
And
about that for a while.
I'd be very interested to see if you can get spectral lotuses in PvE with the inspiration engine.
With both of these cards, they Inspiration Engine and Uzume is something that's interesting. Is the more sets they release, like the more random it becomes. I love that.
Yes, I love that too. It's amazing.
Then
So,
we have on our next one we have the Verdant Wildeboar, and
Wasn't
this
he
one's
named the
changed up.
Petulant Wildebeest?
Yeah, he was
Petulant
Petulant.
Wildebeest?
And it's been changed.
Oh yeah, because he
Oh.
used to be a 1-for-1-1 speed that gave it +4/+4, and then
No, he
returned
used to
to
be.
the
I
deck.
think it was a 1 for 3/3 still, but so they just increased his cost by 1 from as far as I can tell.
The let's take a.
That's probably for the best because honestly, the 1 for 3/3, even if it's just for one turn, is crazy.
Like it's a lightning bolt to the face, kind of.
Yeah, and
I mean,
and
it's
then,
gonna hit
And then it's, I mean, a 1 for 6/6 after that. I mean,
with
it's
speed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just too strong. I mean, I still think it's strong as a 2.
It's still a
with
nice
speed
turn
for
2
3/3.
play, or a turn 2 play that bashes something in the face.
Yeah, because I mean, you pop him out with speed, and then he's gone. Like and then you're gonna pull out a 6/6 at some point for 2. I mean, he's still quite good.
So you were saying, yep, that's right, Jax. I'm guessing you were saying about you were thinking he was a little too strong, maybe. He's in chat, but I figured it's good to engage him. I like Jax. Jax is good guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a card I was like looking at when there was that earlier card where it was whenever you play Ruby card, he gets a little stronger. Playing both of those 1-drops in there. I don't know. I think there might have been potential for those two together in a deck or something. Yeah, I think he was fine at 1 too. I mean, you're not that likely to draw him again.
All right.
And all right. So I guess
Sounds
I
good.
think
Let's move.
we're done there.
Yeah, let's move down. We have Vine Trap, a defensive 4 for 5/3 plant troop.
Well,
That's a
all I can
wall.
say is I'm glad they're printing stuff I'm not excited about. Like it's important to print stuff that necessarily might not be the best. And I don't know, the 3 defense kind of turned me off here.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to kind of go for like a Venus flytrap sort of thing, where it attacks but it's still kind of fragile.
Right, it trades with a lot of things, but it doesn't actually block a lot of things. And,
Yeah, but it's 4 cost. Like,
I'm
feels
with you.
like
I'm with you. I don't like it very much either. I agree.
if this was 2 cost, maybe I would play it once in a while unlimited.
Really, if it were a 2-cost 5/3 defensive, you would play it once in a while unlimited.
Oh,
I would
okay.
probably
I'd play it
take
more
it
than that. Yeah, okay,
Okay.
sure. Yeah, I would play it more than that, but like that's about where I would want to see it. Maybe a 4/3 or something instead. Like where the attack doesn't really matter. But
Sure.
I don't know. I'm just I can't get excited about this card.
Well, then we also have Wild Aura. Target troop +2/+2 and crush.
So this got nerfed and buffed in a sense. You guys notice it?
Let's see. It used to be a target troop gets permanent +3/+3.
Mm-hmm.
So now it gets crush and
2/2.
+2/+2. So
Yeah, so it's pretty much the same card. I mean, instead of getting 3/3, it gets crush. Do you think this is better or worse?
I think it's better. I think we needed more stuff with crush.
Oh, Jack's pointed something out though.
It's a quick action.
There's another change.
Yep,
It was
yep.
a basic action before. Now it's definitely quick
That is
action.
much better.
That's much better. And actually, I think what they were aiming for is that all the auras were quick actions now.
They should be.
I would do
I
it.
actually was not feeling the auras very much as basics. I think we needed more quicks, so I'm happy about that.
I seem to remember a sprite that gets Spell Shield that would love the heck out of this aura.
Yes, very much so.
Well, that or a Thunderbird. Like this on Thunderbird all
Oh
day.
yeah.
Oh yes.
All day, every day.
Oh, yes.
Then we've got a nice vanilla Wild Child Bear.
Yeah, you know, you have to have cards like this. I mean, there's the Mangled Zombie guy. I'm glad they're printing cards that, like I was saying, I was kind of worried that the set was going to be a little too bomby, that like almost every card was a bomb. Like, I think it's important to have cards that are not as good as the other cards in the set.
Well, you know, you need something nice and standard for your early play too. You know, people have got to learn
Yeah,
it at some
totally.
point. All right, now we have a 1 for 1 threshold Wild Growth. Quick action. Target troop gets +3/+3, and then shuffle it into the deck, and its cost becomes permanent 0.
Now that's
They
very
do.
interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
So it gives it +3/+3 for the turn, and then it makes it free if it comes back up later.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's not quite an escalation because it's not doing anything better, but still it shuffles back into your deck and becomes 0 cost, which I'm pretty happy with it.
I think this was just like a flat target troop gets +4/+4 before. I don't remember wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, that was actually pretty powerful. Being able to just do, like, for 1 resource, do 4 damage to your opponent's face if they didn't block the creature is pretty good. And then in that case, like, it's a really great combat trick. But this is an interesting change on it. Like, the fact that basically once you played it the first time, if you draw it, you can completely use all your resources and still be able to, like, bluff to your opponent that you had it. That's the part that I think is interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a much stronger combat trick just because of that. You're absolutely right. If you draw it the second time, your opponent thinks they're safe, you can still throw it on a troop, and that's awesome.
I see one of our favored cards is coming up. The Wild Root
Definitely
Dancer.
one of Jax's favorite cards there. I mean, it doesn't look like the card has been changed whatsoever as far as I can tell.
Yeah. 3 for 2/2. Whenever you play a resource, another target troop you control gets +2/+2.
I believe that's how it always was.
So the oh man, 2
I
Wild
really
Root Dancers
expected this
dropping
card to
down,
be
each
changed.
buffing each other.
I did too.
I thought that it was just too strong to stay, and I mean, it's a good card. It's a great bomb. I mean, there have to be good cards, so this is a good card.
Well,
So-
it doesn't work with the ramp though, so it's not as though it's not whenever you gain threshold or whenever you gain resource. You're having to
Yeah,
play your
true.
resource.
They did change Chlorophilia, so Chlorophilia isn't just with Wild Root Dancer give target troop +4/+4, which was pretty good. But
Right.
I mean, you don't need to always live the dream. Like the situations where it doesn't do that were going to be more common anyways, so nothing really changed on the average, I would say.
Oh, guys, I just
Right,
realized something. There was no Eye of Creation.
Yeah, it's also
Yeah.
one of the cards that's not. It's one of the more complicated cards. All of the cards that aren't included with this, they haven't finished scripting into the game yet.
Yeah, like Jadim wasn't in here. We missed him. Like a lot of the cards that aren't scripted just aren't in here. But we'll see them soon enough.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
these are only the cards that you can
Okay.
play the second you get into the game.
All
I
right,
really hope
so
I stay the same.
I'll be honest, I didn't read that part. I'm like, oh my god, set spoiler, nom 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 nom.
Alrighty, guys. So I think everybody, as soon as we started talking about Wild Root Dancer, everybody started chiming in. From your guys' perspective, what percentage of wild decks does Wild Root Dancer fit in? Like, is it literally 100%, or like when?
I think so.
When would you not play Wild Root Dancer?
The only thing that comes to mind for not playing the Wild Root Dancer is if you have a very focused Shinhair deck. Might
I
be the only
actually
time
think
you don't play it. And I'm
that
talking
Wild Root
super focused.
I mean, even in Shinhair decks, I think that he would be good. I think I would play Wild Root Dancer. I would splash him into most other colored decks. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, he's really good.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you could see him splashed into. Wow, what if you tried doing like a Wild Blood style aggro deck? You can put him in Ruby aggro.
Pauper decks, couldn't put him in Pauper decks. That's
Yeah.
very
Okay.
true.
There you go. Yeah. Not Pauper decks. Sure.
Yes, he is. He's going to be a chasey rare. Go get him, find him, pull him off the auction house.
So
Because we're
on
going to
that
get
note,
at
like,
least 4 of them. And
I
I'm going to try to
might
get
not
every one
play
and
him.
then sell them.
I might not play him in a really slow deck. If the deck was like way slow, that's the only, like, if I wasn't playing any, if like he was one of the only troops in the deck, sure, I probably wouldn't play him. That's
Well, yeah,
the
because
only
you don't have
situation I
anything
can
to toss
imagine.
onto him.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
even in slow decks, when you're only putting in a few creatures, he still seems good because he can buff those few creatures to block more stuff. I mean, he just
Yeah.
always seems good.
Well, that, and I guess the real counterpoint to me is like, where are the slow decks? Where are the decks that aren't playing creatures? And
That's true.
And if you're not playing creatures, why are you playing wild?
But also, we are in green. We are in green, so
exactly.
we're not going to see any slow decks here. But he's only
Yeah.
one threshold. We could just splash him into whatever we want.
Now, it is good
So-
to know he's perfect burn bait.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Him being 2/2 is quite
He is
bad
burn
for
bait.
him.
I'm interested to see if well, I don't imagine there would be, but if playing a resource takes priority, no, I can't imagine that like playing a resource actually occupies priority. I would imagine it would like be the same as playing a land in Magic. Like,
Quite probably.
yeah.
Now, I bet it'll be he'll be probably really fun in the Diamond Wild decks, because when you start throwing Inspire and that ability to bring him away from being removed, there's just so much synergy creature support there because he's so splashable. It's going to be nuts.
So actually, well, go ahead.
I got bored talking about Wild Root Dancer and glanced over at Wind of Change, and it is freaking fantastic.
You mean
Why-
destroying all
why are we
constants,
talking
gaining 2
about
life
this
for
card
each
Why
one?
are we talking about this card?
So gain 2 health for each constant destroyed this way. So maybe that's not the part we really care about. The part we care about is, I'm guessing, the destroy all constants.
Yeah, destroy all constants for 3. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
That's
quite
opponents
strong.
and your own, though, too.
That's true. That's true.
But-
I'm not saying it's.
But
Well-
considering that the only thing we're going to destroy so far is Pact of Life, I think it's no small loss.
What? Yeah,
Well,
like what are
zombie
you destroying with
plague.
it?
I mean, any constant that is on the board. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that there has been so little constant removal up to this point that I'm
Alright.
used to constants being incredibly powerful, and I like it a lot. I'm
So-
really excited about it. I'm super happy.
This is our very last wild card, and all I gotta say is, like, when would you rather play this than the other one, which is 2 cost and destroys 1 constant? Like, when are you actually destroying 2 constants?
When there are more than one constant on the board, when else would I be
Okay.
destroying 2
When,
constants?
you know what? When I'm
Yeah.
facing the Sapphire power control deck that somehow wound up dropping a whole bunch of blood into it too, and all of a sudden I've got 2 zombie plagues hitting the floor, and then I've got crazy nonsense going on, or maybe they pulled 4 zombie plagues in their opening hand, and all of a sudden all of my guys are dying left and right. Yeah.
I would
Alright.
definitely sideboard this card. I wouldn't
Alright,
play it all
alright.
the time, but I would
Here's-
definitely have this card in the sideboard.
Here's where this card works: is you just play a ton of constants and then you
And heal
destroy
yourself?
it. Yeah, you heal yourself.
So we're just gonna add this to our life gain deck
Yeah.
with have Pact of Life in there as one of the constants.
Yeah,
that we
once
get.
once you play the guy that removes all the resources from your deck, you gotta still get some value out of Pact of Life, so you destroy it with this.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
All right.
And they are right. It doesn't remove artifacts. It's not the super artifact removal or
Yeah.
anything like that. So it's
Considering
just
you could
constants,
use-
but still,
For
I like
for
it.
2 resources in that other card, you could destroy a 12 power bomb,
Okay.
nation obliterator card up there in artifacts.
So John
Now-
over at the Hex TCG Pro was just asking us on Twitch. He was saying, so you guys agree with me that Wild is the best shard, right? Sorry, just joined in.
This is
I
the
don't-
first one we're looking at. I got to see
that's
the
tough.
others first.
This is Wild is the first one we're doing our analysis for.
I think Wild is one of the best shards for running mono shard.
I could agree
Probably
to
followed
that.
by Ruby, but I don't know. Wild's very strong. I like it a lot.
Let's see. Now below this, do we have only tokens below this?
Yes, we have to
Yeah.
go up to blood.
Up to
All right.
Blood. So while we're scrolling
All right,
up, I'll
scrolling
just say,
up.
as far as my opinion goes on whether Wild's the strongest, what are we looking at?
Oh,
Well,
we're going all the way
yeah.
up to
now
blood.
now I have to say yes, and the reason is because that card that is a turn 1 generator resource, like the Howling Brave card. Yeah,
Yeah, Howling Brave is
I'm
amazing.
going bonkers for that.
Scrolling on up. Do.
Oh my god.
So much cool stuff. All right, we're skipping artifacts, and we're starting off with atrophy.
We're
Ooh,
going all the way up to
Did
Blood,
it
you're
always
saying?
draw a card?
No, it did not.
So it's a 4
Wait,
for 1
yes, it did.
threshold.
No,
Did it?
it always. This is exactly the same as before.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, the Llanowar, the elf card is absolutely bonkers. Well, now it's the Kyoto card. We were talking about it earlier, John. Just to recap on that, that is definitely my. Well, actually, why don't we do that real quick before we say the blood? That's definitely my favorite card out of the Wild. Like, it's a complete game changer.
So
What about you
which card out of the wild set did we like the most?
Sure.
All right. Well, we know yours. You and your Kyoto elf wannabes. He's fantastic. I don't blame you. Oh, but who do I like the most out of there? Especially
While
for
you think,
PvP.
I'm gonna jump in and say Wild Root Dancer is mine. But that's mainly just because he's so versatile. I'll put him in anything.
Oh, those are just 2 super fantastic picks.
Yours is Pack Raptor. Come on.
That's who I like the most for like PvE because I'll be honest, Jack sold me on Pack Raptor like 2 days after I heard about Hex. I caught up with him on my guild forums, and I'm like, this looks really cool. And he's like, no, it's totally this right now. And I'm like, oh my god, Pack Raptor.
So
Yeah.
this is Jax's fault, is what you're saying.
It really is Jax's fault, but it's also like his signature picture too.
So what I'm saying is that Gwaer's going to be absolutely excited to crush you when you're playing it.
Oh, he's going
Yeah,
to try,
yeah, I am.
and then he's going to realize that I am playing a wild Sapphire deck, and he's going to try to kill it, and I'm going to counter it. And then I'm going to
I'm gonna
play
be
a
running
bunch of
more
Raptors.
than one of those cards, just by the way, and
And I'm
gonna
gonna be running
accomplish
4
both of my
counters.
dreams. Both of my dreams will be accomplished simultaneously with your deck.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. Because you know why? All of the losses that I have in Alpha don't count.
Okay.
It's when you start whooping my tail in beta that I might have a bone to pick and have to change up some strategy.
So John definitely agrees with the Howling Brave. Howling Brave is insane. Like I said, it's a game changer.
No, it is a great card. I agree with you 100%. I think that Wild has the best possible start now because of that card.
I was kind of hoping they were gonna I really love that card. I was kind of hoping they were gonna save it till set 2, so we would get a play